What up everybody, Username here. We're back again in the Taiwan server, and today we're going over the one and only, the glorious king himself, LeBron James. And yes, this is 2016 LeBron, the one who took down the 73-9 Warriors. And man, he's actually really good. They did not hold back when making him. I don't want to glaze, but he's definitely got everything he needs to dominate. His ultimate is a block, where he sprints towards the ball handler and jumps to swat the ball. It has a 360-degree block angle and a greatly increased block success rate. When an opponent shoots near the rim or attempts a dunk or layup, if he blocks from behind, there's a chance to trigger his infamous keystone block. If successful, he'll grab the ball after it hits the backboard. Like Jason Tatum, LeBron has two modes that he can enter. We'll call them athletic mode and ball handler mode, since the translated names are quite long. In ball handler mode, his interference range is slightly reduced, while his three-point and mid-range accuracy are greatly increased. However, his trans and dunk contest resistance are greatly decreased. When he passes to a teammate, their pass speed is slightly increased for 4 seconds. If that teammate passes back to LeBron, the safe pass distance is slightly increased, and upon receiving the pass, all of his shooting accuracy is slightly increased as well. In athletic mode, his block angle against layups and dunks is increased to 240 degrees, his trans and dunk accuracy are greatly increased, while his three-point accuracy is greatly decreased and his mid-range accuracy is slightly decreased. Each time he scores, he also gets an additional 60 morale. The mode you enter depends on your potential attributes. If consistency plus vertical are higher than pass plus dribble, athletic mode is activated. Otherwise, you enter ball handler mode. When he is 5 meters away from the rim, he could perform a side dribble by holding post up. While in this state, he can move normally with the joystick. If he collides with a defender, it will trigger a post up. Releasing post up will trigger a drive to left or right depending on the joystick's direction. In the first 2 seconds in this state, his post-up movement speed and mid-range shot accuracy are slightly increased. After 2 seconds, his post-up success rate is greatly increased. When he's within 5 meters of the basket while inside dribble, he enters post-up mode where he can only move forward and backward. In ball handler mode, he also gains access to catch and drive. If he's in athletic mode, after 2 seconds of side dribble, he can initiate contact with a chance of knocking back opponents by releasing post-up while moving the joystick towards the rim. He can also trigger a fadeaway during his side dribble by letting go of the joystick or moving it towards the rim and pressing shoot. During a post-up, this turns into a turnaround fadeaway. He can also chain his jump shots directly into his drives. And if he's in ball handler mode, he can trigger a step-back shot by moving the joystick away from the rim and pressing shoot. But this only works inside the three-point line. This can be chained directly after his drives or after receiving a pass. He can even cancel his shots by pressing this. And then he'll attempt to make contact with a chance of knocking back opponents in front of him. After this, you can follow up with a fadeaway. He also has some exclusive dunks. When he's within 1 to 3 meters of the rim, it will trigger this dunk. If it's within 3 to 5 meters, he'll trigger his infamous tomahawk dunk. And if he's in a post-up from the same distance, he'll spin into a dunk instead. In ball handler mode, he can cancel the spin into a fadeaway. While in athletic mode, his dunk speed is slightly increased. When he passes to his teammates, both his passing speed and safe passing distance are slightly increased. If he's in athletic mode, within 3 seconds after passing, his outbound movement speed is slightly increased. He's also got separate sprints for offense and defense, each with its own cooldown. He can also increase the stacks of his sprint. Every time he scores or gets an assist, he gains 1 stack of sprint up to 3 stacks, which can only be used during defensive possessions. And while in athletic mode, he gains an additional 0.5 seconds of greatly increased movement speed at the start of his sprint. For the talents, here's the order I recommend. First, get this. when there's only a minute left in the game, and if his team is tied or trailing, his ultimate turns into a clutch shot. It can also be changed at the end of each drives. If used during a drive towards the off-ball hand, it will trigger this shot. If used during the side dribble, it will trigger a fadeaway. If used during a post-up, it will trigger a turnaround fadeaway. If used during contact against a defender inside the three-point line, it will trigger a step back. Next, get this, it gives him access to a catch and shoot. Pressing it again immediately will trigger a fake and fight step into a shot. He can cancel this with a pass or look for a contact. He can also combine this with his ultimate. It will also allow him to trigger a catch and step back. Then, get this, it gives him access to a bump after a drive, which has a chance to knock back defenders. If successful, he will perform a spin in the opposite direction, which he can chain into a fade. In athletic mode, he can use this to interrupt a catch and shoot or fake and sidestep. After that, get this. In the final 40 seconds of the game, he simultaneously gains both ball handler mode and athletic mode, while all debuffs from each mode are removed. These effects last until the end of the game. Get this one too. After passing the ball or during a sprint in athletic mode, he can call for a long-range alley-oop dunk by holding this. This works from 4 meters away from the rim inside the three-point line. Pressing this during the alley-oop will cancel the dunk. Lastly, get this. In ball handler mode, he can kick out of his dunks and pass it to his teammates. It can only be used once per possession. Now for his enhancements. His first enhancement is basically when leading V passes to a teammate, their open shot accuracy increases by 3% for 5 seconds. If the pass results in an assist, his own shooting accuracy increases by 2%, stacking up to 3. The stacks are cleared if he attempts a shot or dunk. When trailing, his contest angle is reduced by 5%, and his dunk block resistance increases by 10%. If he scores to tie or take the lead, all teammates' shooting accuracy increases by 3%. This effect can only be triggered once per game. His third enhancement increases his contest rate by 10% when blocking dunks and layups. His fifth enhancement is that after he scores 2 times consecutively, in the next defensive possession, the whole team's contest attribute and defensive rebound competitiveness increases by 8, while his off-ball movement speed increases by 5%. If the team successfully defends this possession, the whole team gains 30 morale. Now for some tips on combos, here are the ones that you'll need. In ball handler mode, here's the thing you need to keep in mind. Whenever you receive the ball, always start with a pump fake. You can do it once or twice, but don't use it directly because it will trigger the catch and shoot. You need to wait for a bit before doing the pump fakes. Most of the time, opponents will get caught off guard and try to contest you because of the decreased interference range. After the pump fake, quickly go for the side dribble and move forward. If they're hit by the post-up, quickly go for the fade as soon as you push them. Or you can also drive to the left or right depending on which area is open. Then go for a pull-up or step back. If they stay at the edge of your interference range, you can quickly hit a step back. Because of the reduced interference range and it being ridiculously fast, they won't be able to contest it if they don't have sprint. This combo that I'm going to show you can be used both in ball handler mode and athletic mode. Start with a drive towards the on ball or off ball hand. If the paint is open, use the bump and then finish with a dunk. You can also drive towards the off ball hand, then finish with a step back or a pull-up. This is useful for easy three-pointers and mid-range shots, and you can even use it with your ultimate. Speaking of ultimate, the best ones to use are the step back or fade away, as both are hard to block and anticipate. However, getting contact is quite difficult. Defensively, you can also use his ultimate as a blocking tool like Lopez or Capella's ultimate, or as he dash to contest shots, which allows him to help on defense. Sometimes you'll be guarded by opponents that are stronger than you, which will result to this animation. You can still get past this by releasing post-up as soon as this animation plays while moving the joystick towards an open area, then going for a pull-up or step back. His dunks are quite difficult to guard one-on-one. and his ability to kick out of his dunks makes him really good with stretch bigs. Don't forget that he can cancel his shots, which is also pretty useful when you're about to take a bad shot. His fake and side step is also really good for repositioning and baiting out opponents. In athletic mode, you can start with a catch and shoot, then quickly go for the bump. If you hit the opponent, go for the fadeaway. If not, drive towards the open area and go for a pull-up. You can also do this with his fake and side step. His alley-oop is also really good, and if paired with stretch bigs, it becomes practically unguardable. And even if opponents are in the paint, he can fake it and then quickly go for another dunk. Although, I don't recommend spamming this. Like in ball handler mode, he can still look for contact with his side dribble, but it will be harder because his interference range doesn't shrink and he's more likely to miss. Each mode has its pros and cons. Ball handler mode is all about offense. It turns LeBron into a solid shooter. He can knock down 3-point shots around 50% of the time. This mode works best if you need him as a scorer since it's very versatile and allows him to stretch the floor. Athletic mode, on the other hand, is where he becomes a monster in the paint and on defense. The trade-off is that you lose his 3-point threat, and opponents won't guard him as tightly, and even his mid-range can be inconsistent. This mode works best if you're running with a stretch big and teammates who can shoot reliably, since it lets LeBron dominate inside while they space the floor. And if you unlock his talents, he gains both modes with all drawbacks removed in the last 40 seconds of the game. This means you'd have his clutch shooting. I also recommend trying to set up 2 potential builds like this so you can adjust accordingly during the picking phase. For the potential, this is the one I use for ball handler mode. In and out, gunfire, and mobile defender. This will give them plus 22-3 and plus 8 movement. For the athletic mode, I use powerhouse, gunfire, and patient shooter. This gives him plus 19-3 and plus 16 to strength. This build will allow him to shoot threes when there's 40 seconds left in the game. For the partner, I use the one that gives out 3 points. Before we get into some gameplay, drop a like and comment if you're enjoying the video, and sub if you're new. It helps out a lot and I really appreciate it. Anyways, that's enough talk. Let's see how the king will dominate his opponents.